Hello everybody. Today I'm going to talk about when you still love a toxic ex. But I'm talking about those of you who know you want to leave, you know you've left, you know you want to move forward with your life, you don't want to look back, but you just feel pulled back to them. So I'm not talking about those of you who are most likely to go back. I want to talk about to those of you who really know you've made the right decision and do not want to go back. You know, when I fled my ex one dark night, I had a very small window of opportunity. So I threw only what I could find that my baby needed into my car, and I left the rest because possessions were just not important to me. I was running for our lives. My ex had almost murdered me once before, so I knew what he was capable of. And I realized that in the weeks before I left him, the tension and the abuse started to escalate because he was getting a sense he was losing control of me. And I just want to reiterate that this is the most dangerous time when you leave a toxic or abusive partner. Very, very dangerous time when they realize they're losing control of you, and they know that's it, you know, and it really is a wound to their ego. It's a wound to them thinking that you have taken their power away from them. And that often, you know, the months as you're trying to leave and the months after leaving is often when women are killed by their partners. So it is a really, really dangerous time. And therefore, I knew that. So I planned my exit and I had a safe place ready to go to. I made sure that I left safely. But even so, the journey as I left was the most terrifying drive of my life. You know, I knew he'd said to me, if you ever leave me, I'll kill you and our child, and then I'll kill myself. And so I just thought, what if he's behind me? What if he sees I'm leaving? You know, and I could only breathe again when I got to this place that I knew he did not know where I would be. And I initially was euphoric. I was really, really, I felt great. I felt free. I felt liberated. And a woman was talking to me this morning, and she said that's how she felt. But then she crashed. And that's why I thought I'd do this video, you know, because I crashed so hard after that euphoria of leaving when I first left. The next weeks were agony because I was still gripped by that love addiction and that codependency. And every bone in my body, even though I knew I'd made the right decision and I was never going to go back, every bone in my body was screaming at me to go back, go back, go back, get out of this pain. Even if it's just, you know, one more hug from him, even at one more I love you would ease the pain even for a short time. And that was what everything was telling me to do because I still loved him. I wanted him to be a father to our son. I wanted us to be a family. And I could see the potential in him that I really convinced myself if I could love him enough, then I could help him to heal enough to become the man that I loved and a father to his child. But I knew that this was just a fantasy. There isn't two sides to these guys. They are the abusive, toxic one. They're just very good at putting on a mask every now and again to hide the fact. And that's the mask we fall in love with. We don't fall in love with the abusive man. It's the mask we're missing. So I knew this was a fantasy and that I just had to stay strong. But I was in a very, very dark place with nothing but my baby and the clothes on my back, literally. And I had to start all over again. And emotionally, it was a very painful time for me. I hurt as I'd never hurt before. And part of me felt paralyzed, thinking that this is the way I was going to be for the rest of my life, alone and in pain. then I realized I had a choice. I could fight for my vision of this dream life I wanted to build for me and my son, one that there would be happiness again and joy and laughter. Or I could stay stuck as a helpless victim, defined by my past, still energetically tied to the toxic man who was my ex. And I was tired of that. I was tired of being tied to him. I wanted to take my power back, so I choose to move forward. And what I now know is this: your past doesn't equal your future unless you take it with you. And guess what? You get to choose or decide. You get to choose to move forward to a vision of a brighter, more empowered future, or you get to decide to stay stuck in the BS reasons why you can't. And they could be anything. I don't have time to put work into myself. I'm too busy at work. I don't have money to invest in myself. My problem is worse than others. I'm a hopeless case. I'm a lost cause. Nobody's going to understand what I've been through. All these reasons why you just stay stuck as a victim. And you know what? Sometimes there's a payoff for that. Sometimes it's got a really screwy payoff if you stay stuck as a victim in your past. You get to be the martyr. You get to be the one who says, poor me, look what that person did to me. But you know what? No one does anything to you in a relationship unless you allow them to. And I know that sounds controversial. And it sounds like victim blaming. But I don't care, because the day I realized I had a choice to walk out that door and change my life was the most liberating day of my life. I no longer blamed. I no longer stayed stuck in all the reasons why I was a helpless, paralyzed, trapped victim. I choose to walk away from my past. And it took a lot of work to heal the hidden wounds that I never even knew were there. The ones that made me feel not good enough and were at the heart of why I ignored all the red flags and warning signs that were there right at the start of that relationship, why I ended up in a toxic relationship, and why I chose to stay way after abuse when I should have left. And look, it is very, very complicated. Coercive control is a very powerful form of brainwashing. So in a way, you do lose a lot of control over your choices and decisions, because you do get brainwashed and gaslighted into thinking and believing you're to blame. But ultimately, the only one who can save you is you. Once you decide to stop denying what's happening. Sorry, that's my husband calling me. I'm just going to... Sorry about that. And I, once I got out of denial and stopped feeling I'm trapped, I'm paralyzed, I'm a victim of somebody else's behavior, and made the choice to take responsibility over my own life, my own happiness, my own behavior, I made the first steps to heal. And each passing day, week and month and year, I inched closer and closer and closer to what would become my new life. It was tough. I was a single mother. I took myself to university. I would put him to bed and stay up all night writing my assignments. But that was the choice I made. I wanted a different life. So I got my degree. I found a great career in television. And then I went on to find the man who became my best friend and life partner. and who I'm blissfully happy with and still married to more than 3 decades later. You know, I broke the cycle for me and my son. And those days when we first fled into the night were really painful and hard, but they were a fork in the road. They were a sliding door moment where my life could have gone one way or the other. And it was the choice that I made that decided which road I was going to go down. And I hate to think of what my life would have looked like had I stayed. Then again, I suspect I probably wouldn't be alive. I would have been another domestic violence statistic. And my son would have gone on to grow up repeating that pattern and becoming an abuser himself or another victim of it. Thank God I made the decision that I did and took the hard road. Because sometimes, you know, it's easier to stay in that dysfunctional normal than getting out of our comfort zone to step out of it. But what I call it, a dysfunctional comfort blanket. Even if it hurts, sometimes it's easier to just put that blanket back around us and stay stuck in that self-pity of why we're a victim and why everyone else has done this or that to us and why we're just trapped. Than it is to put in the work to face your demons. That hurts, but is necessary to heal. And what I've learned is this: happiness is a choice. Staying stuck as a victim, imprisoned by your past, is a choice. Even if you are feeling as helpless and paralyzed as I did, you have a choice. If you don't find the courage to choose to move forward, then you're never going to know what fulfilling your potential or your purpose is like. Falling back in love with your life, how joyful and happy that is, and how incredible it is to feel complete and empowered with or without a partner. I'm not saying it's easy, it's not. And as I said, in many ways it's harder and more painful facing your demons and crawling through that dark tunnel necessary to heal. But with the right support and the right mentor and help, you can find the light at the other end of that tunnel. You just have to ask yourself, which choice are you going to make? You know, listen to yourself. Are you coming up with excuses as to why you can't move forward? Because so many do. I hear many women do this. And I had every right to do the same. I had every right to stay stuck and angry at what had happened to me, almost being killed when I was pregnant. I could have milked that for years. But I didn't want to be tied to that man for the rest of my life as a victim. Do you? So if you are looking for support, there's 3 ways I can help you. One is to go and watch my webinar. Go to vivianmcgrath.com, my website, and there's a number of things you can do. I have a free ebook in which I'm going to talk about this unconscious shame cycle that you get trapped in. That is one of the things that blocks you moving forward with your life. I have a free webinar, how to recover from toxic relationships, fall back in love with your life, and never settle for less than you deserve ever again. I have a Facebook group, Love You and Choose the Life You Want. And if you're truly ready to make that choice and want somebody to guide you, then you can also book a call with me. But do those things first, and then you'll know where to find me. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. Siddharth Gupta, hugs to you, Vivian. Thank you very much. And Deb says, the more you love and own your own boundaries, the more you'll be drawn to new, better people. It's absolutely true. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope that's given you some more insight, and I hope you make the right choice over your life. Bye for now, and I'll see you in my next video.